Thank you for joining us and welcome to today's webinar, Digitalized Lead Conversion and Data-Driven Sales Management. My name is Kaisha and I will be your host for today. For the next 60 minutes, there will be several topics covered. We will talk about how Indonesia insurance market outlook trend is, then why there is a need for digitalizing the Indonesian insurance industry in 2022. Following up, we will get to see Vymo business case and live demo. Lastly, we will see how DX utilization for further data-driven sales management. You will have the opportunity to submit the text question to today's speaker by typing your questions into the Q&A box in your Zoom. You may send in your question at any time during the presentation, because we will collect these and address them during the Q&A session at the end of today's presentation. Now, I would like to introduce today's speaker. First, we have Akira-san, Managing Director from ABeam Consulting Indonesia. Second, we have Pak Helvin, Manager of Digital Transformation from ABeam Consulting Indonesia. And third, we have Mr. Parun, Vice President of Product Marketing and Go-to-Market from Vymo. Without further ado, we will turn the time over to Akira-san for ABeam Consulting Indonesia introduction, followed up by Mr. Parun for Vymo introduction.
Hi all. Thank you for your time to participate in our webinars. And then, allow me to introduce our companies. And then after that is Vymo introduction as a self-introduction. We are PT ABeam Consulting Indonesia. And then I'm the Managing Director of ABeam Consulting. Name is Akira Murayama. Thank you for your time again. And then just a quick introduction of ourselves. We are the ABeam Consulting Group, and then headquarters is in Japan. And then in Indonesia, we have the 10 years experiences in here as a PT entities. Although we have a business even before 10 years in the global project though. And then recently we rapidly increase, and then we have the 170 professional consultants as national staff. So this is our operation size. Expertise literally as a consulting firm. So we are especially specialized for the automotive and the financial services, and especially digital transformation. So we also have that many credentials in the global as well as Indonesia. So this is our company introduction. Maybe we can go to next slide, and then just to quickly show that our coverage in the overall global. Our focus is primarily in Asia. So entities in the Vietnam, and then also the Indonesia, Thai, Malaysia, Singapore. So we have the major entities over there. So other all over the global, we also have the coverage in the Europe and in America. So this is our overall ABeam Group global network. So there are other local professional consultants in each entities to support the companies for growth. So maybe I will pass the mic to the Vymo side one room. And then so actually Vymo is our DX partners. We also have an alliance with them. So to accelerate the DX platform and then the our clients growth, especially in the insurance company. I'll pass the mic to the Varun.
Thank you so much, Akira-san. As a Vymo, a short introduction. We are a sales engagement platform that is being used by some of the leading financial institutions across the globe. I'll be walking through in a lot more detail what we mean by sales engagement, but essentially we are a smart, intelligent, and very verticalized solution that is used by frontline sales personnel and sales managers in various insurance and banking use cases with a strong footprint in Southeast Asia and Japan and North America. And we are very close partners with ABeam, and I'm looking forward to this webinar. Thanks a lot for joining, everyone. I think we can move on to the next slide, please.
All right, so I will be top on that, the Indonesian insurance market outlook trend and opportunities, just coming the several slides. So if we look at the insurance market outlook in Indonesia, Yeah, actually, that Indonesia have the big potential, as all attendees knows. This is actually in insurance industry penetration ratio in the overall global. So left side chart shows life insurance penetration against the GDP, and the right side is non-life insurance. So literally, you will see compared with GDP, against the underwriting amount of the insurance premium. So actually, Indonesia compared with other emerging APAC, such as Thailand to the Philippines. So Indonesia still have a lot of potential. You can see in the life insurance 1.4%, and the non-life is 0.5%. So you will see like there's some kind of characteristic in the life insurance and non-life in the global. It's like life insurance is advanced APAC is a top 6.2%, and world is 3.3. On the other hand, non-life is 4.1, and the advanced APAC 3.1. But this kind of advanced APAC and world is it's a bit different between the life insurance and insurance because mainly due to the US. US is a bit less life insurance participation. So that's why this kind of things is happening. So what I try to say here is there are a lot of potential against the GDP and further growth for the future. Right. And then this one is which show about the Indonesian insurance market potential. So we show that the several represented countries in the SEA, Southeast Asia, starting from Singapore to the Myanmar on the right side. So Indonesia located something in the middle. And then you can see the light blue bar is the right side scale as the populations in the countries. So Indonesia has a huge growth right now till 2030, maybe reach out to the 300 million. Against that, life insurance market and non-life insurance market is proportionally, this is still lower side compared with the other developing countries, Singapore, Thailand, Malaysia, those countries. Yeah. Then we move to technical side, like a startup investment in Indonesia. Left side, the bar chart indicates a startup investment trend since the 2019. So you will see that rapid increase to the 2021, and this trend also continue into 2022, I think. Right side chart shows Indonesia dynamic insurtech map. So it's also including the overall platform ecosystem of the insurance. So that's why this is also including some hospital or those tech platform. And then this coverage is getting wider, like a chaos map in the global startup companies, application super apps. So next slide, we tap on that several represent of startup companies in Indonesia, starting from Hughes. So they also provide a digital platform as a startup companies, and then also showing that the comparison between the insurance offering. So they also literally, they get a big fan from that market. And then the next one is a Passapolis and the Cola. So they also try to make it digitalized from the beginning to the claim processes. So one of the Passapolis also get a fan from investment from the project or those tech giant. And then they also try to optimize and the distribution of the insurance through these gig workers. So these kind of things based on digital platform already started. And then it's going to be more competitive in Indonesia. Literally, Indonesia startup investment is really big inside the SEAs. So, and then we also think like this kind of trend still will continue for future too. Yeah. But actually at the same time, although it goes with the digital, yeah. So actually we really believe the human process will not disappear from the market. So human resource or labor force is quite important for the especially insurance market. You will see others online or those proportion increasing rapidly though. Still final delivery or claim process still need a human support to give the good user experiences to the actual customers. So in that sense, agency and the bank assurance, this proportion is still majority. So very important point, and also to have a power by the Vymo is how to optimize to control and then guide those human labor and resources even under this kind of situation. So this is the highlight we do in this slide. Yeah, so last slide from me. So left side is B2C model, right side is B2B model. And then the insurance companies, both operations. B2C, literally there's an insurance company and there's a salesperson, and then provide the insurance to the customers. So like the key challenges, and then the Varun and then the Vymo side will showcase that their capability is also a bit linked to these key challenges in terms of standardized talk script between the distributors to standardize their quality of the explanation to the customers and delivery. Also, the prioritized attack list is not like a monotone to go to visit the customer, but having more like a AI analysis. We also need to think about which one is more like higher conversion ratio to go, and the optimized sales route to guide the distributors. And then based on the customer life stage, this is a bit tough on the CRM point, but based on the customer stage, how properly we can offer the product to that customer side for the better service and experiences. On the other hand, B2B, we put the focus in the circle on the insurance company agency manager. This is B2B, and the agency will deliver the insurance product to the customer. So this is a good interface for activity tracking because B2B, so need a more like a proper manner and then timely tracking that what actually the agency manager does. So this need to be tracked and then the control by the agency and those supervisors. And also how to maintain the motivation with the KPI for the agency and then those agencies' education, how to also standardize and give the quality. So this is going to be the quick summary of the typical challenges and the insurance company. Although good to go to the digital, these human labor and the optimize that productivity is quite important for coming several years. So this is the explanation part from me, and then I would pass the mic to Varun.
Hey, thank you so much, Akira-san. I think some of the major things that you highlighted makes it very relevant to sort of review before we go into the need for digitalization. The market is large, it's significant, it's growing. A lot of demographic shifts and all that are leading to the need for insurance. The penetration will increase. At the same time, it is never going to be a completely digital process. It's going to be a combination of a sales rep or an agent-based process with various interaction points which are going to be digital. So like you mentioned, Akira-san. So it is very important to, while we digitize, it's very important to also see how the managers, the agents can be empowered to know at what points of the journey do they have to intervene to add value. So this combined journey of human plus digital is going to be the way forward. And we'll talk about the need for digitalization and where this combination can come into place. And I'll show you a little bit about Vymo's solution as well and how we're working with ABeam. Yes, I think we can move to the next slide. So just to set context and to take on from what Akira-san said, the primary channels that we're seeing in Southeast Asia are the agency channel, the bank assurance channel, so which are both like the B2B model that Akira-san said, where it is very important to nurture the relationship with these channel partners to make sure that you as an insurance carrier are more successful. And then we have the direct agent channel. So with that as a framework, let us take a look at the need for digitalization. So we can go to the next slide, please. So, so let me start by looking at the agency channel. The broad sales structures are the following. So we have an agency manager who's handling agencies, and here the primary goals and the objectives of the agency manager is to get strong visibility into their agency network and to understand which agency needs their attention right now, because they might be dealing with a large number of agencies, some large, some small, which are spread across a large geography. To manage all of these agencies requires visibility, and to know at any point in time, I mean, which is the agency that needs my attention? And not just that, but you also need to have a smart and dynamic way of segmenting the agencies, because not all of the agencies will give you the same amount of business. So some will be higher potential, some will be lower potential. So the ability to segment them and then to tie your engagement frequency with these agencies to these segments becomes very important. And if you don't have a smart, simple system to do that, which is digital first, then you might be leaving a lot of opportunity on the table. If I look at the B2C model, where I have an agent who's directly going to the customer, then the challenges are slightly different. So I need to have the ability to prospect leads. So what is the way in which I can add in leads from various sources, but regardless of what source the lead come in, they have to be structured in a similar manner, in a clean manner, enriched, and then the entire lead journey. So the lead conversion journey has to be very powerful, because if me as an agent, if I am handling say 100 leads, what is the way in which I can optimize my productivity to make sure that I convert maximum number of those leads? So whichever is the higher potential leads, I need to be spending more time on those and so on. So the segmenting of leads and nurturing the lead through the journey becomes very important. And I need a single window for all my activities, because I need to do my lead activities. I need to look at my product brochures and learn about the products which I have to sell. I need to look at my goals and incentives. And if I have to look at multiple different systems for this, it becomes a problem. So I need everything in one single window. So these are the priorities for an agent who's doing a B2C sale. Next slide. And now if I step one level up, and if I look at supervisors of agency relationship managers or supervisors of agents, there the problem is, again, you have very distributed teams, and COVID has made more and more people work from home and work remotely. So there is no sort of in-person coaching component has become less because teams are distributed. So the managers or the supervisors need visibility into their entire agents, who's doing what activities and so on. And they need to set up proper ramp up plans for the agent. So if a new agent comes on board, how can I ensure that he or she is more successful in a structured manner? And how can I make my agents more successful so that they become very loyal to my organization? Because more and more we are seeing that the agency workforce is becoming younger. So we have millennials who are digital native are coming into the workforce. How do you make them motivated? How do you provide them a powerful digital app which they can use to sell, which makes them stay and grow with your organization? So that becomes important for managers. Next slide, please. And by making managers more successful in being able to get visibility, we are seeing, so this is a study, done by McKinsey across the globe for insurance in particular, but it also is a trend that we see across BFSI, is that by managers becoming more successful and by getting more visibility, we have a 25% increase in close rates. We have 75% increase in offers closed per sales team. And we have an 80% increase in the contract value as well. So what we are seeing is the number of activities per agent goes up, the number of policies closed per agent goes up, and the total value also goes up. So prioritizing visibility and interventions for supervisors at the right time can have a significant impact. Next slide, please. Yeah, so now let's go a little deeper over the next 15 minutes or so. So if I look at supervisors, we spoke about some of their priorities. One of their priorities is to plan and prioritize their day. So I have a large team that is spread across the geography. I need to figure out how I need to plan my day so that I can join the right meetings. I can sort of provide the right guidance to my team. So, and I can identify any risks which are there with the performance of my entire team. So for that, what I need is a quick summary of all the key team metrics and all the major activities which my team is doing. And I don't want to go into a large platform on my desktop and then search and look at all tables and figure this out. This needs to be summarized to me in a very simple manner. So that's the first priority. Second priority is that I need to intervene at the right time to my team and push them towards success. So for example, if, I mean, one of my say insurance agents who is reporting to me, if he or she has a very important meeting coming up in 30 minutes, can I as a manager get a notification saying that an important meeting is coming up? So please call your agent and have a coaching call. And very often those small interventions at the right time from the manager is what leads to success, rather than a post-mortem which is done at the end of the month, or I mean at the beginning of the week and so on. So it has to be timely in the moment. So a notification prompt at the right time can help drive to success. And the third aspect is reports. So the first two aspects are more about the dynamic nature, in the sense at this point in time, where do I need to spend my attention? The third aspect of it is more of a, I want to step back and look at the larger picture. I get all the reports of various metrics which are important to me as a supervisor or as a manager, which will help me to understand how to improve. And I mean, with Vymo, we try to make the reports very intuitive so that it's not just some information out there, but information that you can actually use. I mean, so those are the ways that we help for managers. Yeah. And if you look at agents now, so we looked at supervisors. Now I'm just going a level down on the next step in the value chain. So the actual agents itself, we spoke about some of their priorities earlier, but just digging deeper now, as an agent, I need to know certain additional things like, so there's a lot of content which I have in my content repository, but how do I share that with the customer in the journey at the right point? So, I mean, if my customer is interested in a particular product, then I should be able to share the most relevant product brochure with the customer. If they need some FAQs about how the riders to an insurance policy work, I need to have those information ready and share it at the right time, in the right channel. It might be via email, a text message, and so on, so that it actually leads to lead conversion. I mean, so that is one additional thing that the agents want. But the central one, which you have there, the second point here, is the key thing that we hear from all agents, which is too many tools, too many consoles, and too much scattered data. The information that they need is spread across multiple different sources. And so they need single window visibility into their entire, all their activities. And so that becomes a huge important business need for them. And the third activity, I mean, it goes back to what we spoke about for the supervisors. We have a similar one for the agents, which is what activities must I prioritize right now? I have so many potential activities, but what is important for me to do right now? And the challenge traditionally with traditional CRM solutions and so on is that it's a great system of record. You have a huge number of tables, all the information can potentially be there for you to go and take a look at. But if I, as a salesperson who's on the move, who's selling to so many people, who has a very packed day, if I have to go and take a look at all of these tables and figure out what to do next, then we don't have, I mean, so then we don't have the, I mean, it becomes very hard for me. So I need prioritization on what I need to at that point in time. We can go to the next slide. Yeah, and all of the things that I spoke about now, if you see, what do I do next? Where do I intervene to my team? And all of those things, these are activity shifts. I mean, so these are not outcome shifts yet. These are shifts in activities that happen. And what we have seen across the board is that if there is a shift, even a 5% median shift in the sales activities, it leads to much better outcomes. And with Vymo, the focus is on focusing on these activity outcomes, making each salesperson a little better, which leads to much better sales outcomes in terms of revenue. I'm going to just go very quickly through this, which is now for an agency relationship manager, a lot of the similar things apply. So they need to plan which agency requires their attention. They need to understand what targets are at risk of completion. They have to figure out what products I can cross-sell. And a lot of this information can be gained by looking at various systems. It is not that this information is not available. So that is not what I'm saying. But what is the additional value add that can be brought up is the fact that you have a single window visibility into all of this information, where all of these engagement triggers are brought into one single window, so that an agency RM can look at that window for guidance on what they have to do. So it is the consolidation of information and it is the simplification and summarization of what is most relevant information at any point in time, which is the key value add. Next slide, please. Similarly, for bank assurance, I'm not going to spend too long on bank assurance because a lot of the similar things apply. But the nuance here is that, I mean, when it comes to banks, we are dealing with a lot of branches across your area. And a lot of the similar problem statements that we looked at for agencies will also apply from a bank assurance perspective as well. But the nuance being there's a lot more that we can do in analytics because you're dealing with, I mean, branches, and the way you segment and allocate your relationship managers to branches can be optimized by looking at a lot of the activity information that Vymo provides. I mean, which I can touch upon as part of the demo as well, very briefly. Move to the next slide. Yeah. So yeah, I want to pause here because this is an important part that I spoke about earlier, which is at a relationship manager level, it's a lot of the same pain points that we hear even from an agency relationship manager. But when I step back and as an insurance leader, when I'm looking at my strategic bank partnerships, I really need to get consolidated sort of insights into what is happening across my branch network, which will help me take some very important organizational level calls in terms of redistributing my resources across branches, in terms of segmenting my branches and so on. And at this point in time, this visibility is not available to leaders. And this visibility is not available because the actual interactions that are happening on the ground with the branch relationship managers and the branches and the contacts at branches and so on is not all happening in one single window. And because this is not happening in one single window, we don't have the level of visibility that leaders need to take very strategic calls. And that is what Vymo solves by being the sales engagement platform. And next slide, please. Yeah, I mean, we can skip this slide because it covers a lot of what we spoke about on the agency as well. And we can go to the next slide, please. And we can go to the next slide as well, please, because I want to get to the demo as well. Yeah, so I'll pause here a little bit. Yes, yeah. So we can go into the business case. No, I think we can go to the next slide. Very briefly, I will talk about how we are solving this for 2 large customers in Southeast Asia. And then I will actually jump into the Vymo mobile app and showcase how some of the single pane of glass simplified visibility for an agent can be done. And I mean, let's go to the next slide. So let's look at 2 examples in short. First is AIA. And we work with AIA, of course, it's an insurance leader across the globe. And we work with AIA across geographies in India, Southeast Asia. And the problem statement there, and we work across their channels as well. So we work both on the bank assurance channel and we work on the agency channel. So let's take a look at their agency channel. So there it was the standard problem statements that the agency relationship managers did not have a consolidated single window visibility into the activities across their agencies, the metrics across their agencies. And so a lot of inefficiencies were creeping into the system. And what Vymo provided was a single pane of glass experience for their relationship managers, where all the information was simplified and summarized with intelligent rule-based engagement playbooks, which would nudge the agency managers on what they have to do next. And with this single window visibility, I mean, we were seeing that the number of active users prior to Vymo, the number of users who were using their internal sales tools and so on was in the 20 to 30% mark. With Vymo, we became their sales assistant, and we had 90% daily active usage, with an increase in the number of sales activities as well, significant number of increase in the sales activities, which then lead to a large number of their agents actually hit their sales targets, which led to significant outcomes for the company. I mean, the point to note here again, like I mentioned earlier, is that we focus on improving the activities, making each salesperson do the right activities at the right time, which leads to a cascading benefit in the outcomes. Next slide, please. Similarly for AXA, it's a similar use case. We work with AXA as well across geographies in APAC. And again, we work across lines of businesses. We work in direct channel, agency channel, and so on. but they were looking to scale up their agency network in various geographies, and they found that the productivity was a significant problem, and it was leading to a lot of attrition. A lot of their agency managers were leaving because they were not able to be successful in hitting their targets. So there was a sort of general lack of motivation. Plus, there was very poor insights from what the best agents were doing, which could be used as a playbook to help the rest of the agents get better, and which is what Vymo did. So we provided a playbook mechanism where we learn from what the best performers, the top quartile performers are doing. And based on these learnings, we lay out activity playbooks which will nudge the rest of the salespeople to do the right thing at the right time, which led to significant outcomes. As we can see, it led to more meetings per day, but more importantly, it led to a 30% increase in actual lead conversions in those geographies that we went live with. So I'll pause here. Before I go into the demo, I just wanted to mention one thing, that the significant impact that we provide is on two things. One is we provide a single pane of glass. Vymo provides a single pane of glass experience, which is a powerful mobile first experience for agents and for agency managers and for supervisors, which brings in all the information that they need in one place. But then more importantly, we provide verticalized playbooks. And by verticalized playbooks, we mean the best practices, workflows, the taxonomy, and so on, which is fine-tuned to each sub-vertical and to each geography. So for example, when we provide say deployment for a customer in Indonesia, it will have Vymo's technology solution, but with the best practice playbooks. And these best practice playbooks will be built in collaboration with, with our strategic partner, ABeam. And the way we will work together is that the deep experience that they bring in the insurance space in Indonesia will be built into Vymo's product itself to provide an extremely targeted and contextual solution for our insurance customers. So I would love to take questions at the end, but I will just do a very short demonstration. I will not take too long in the demo. I'm going to start sharing my screen from my mobile phone. And I would love to do a much longer, deeper demonstration post the call. So do reach out to us on our emails that we will share. And we would love to do a much deeper demonstration as well. So for now, I'm going to start sharing my screen and talk to you a little bit about how Vymo does the things that we spoke about. So I think you can see my screen. So this is Vymo's app, and I'm just going to walk through how the single pane of glass experience with Vymo looks like. So what you see here is the view for a supervisor. So I am a supervisor who's managing a large team. So I get a single window visibility. I start my day. I can view the entire goals of my team. I think there's an, yeah. So I can view all the sales goals that I have set at the team level, and I get sort of color-coded visibility into which are the goals at risk. So I can look at the goals at risk. I can go into my team, and I can look at each individual member of my team and what is their gap in the goal performance, so that I can have a sort of individualized coaching. But I mean, let me jump into an agent's point of view as well, right? And then, so there's a lot, I mean, we can potentially look at, but I will just take a small scenario and walk through how that works out in Vymo. So let me be, say, an insurance agent who is handling a network of agencies and who's also handling a bunch of agents in a B2C scenario, right? I mean, both scenarios are possible. So, I mean, when I start my day, I need to plan and prioritize my day better. And what are the ways in which I can plan and prioritize? I can start by looking at my calendar, and I can see that I don't have any meetings scheduled for my calendar today. So I need to go and schedule meetings. With Vymo, all your work calendars will be linked. As you can see on top, we have links to Outlook and to Gmail calendars. So all meetings which are scheduled in those calendars will also show up here. But I find that I have not yet scheduled any meetings on my calendar. So I need to figure out what are the ways in which I can schedule meetings. So there are a bunch of tools that I can use to plan my day better. I can look at, firstly, all my goals. I can figure out what are my goals that are at risk. And based on those goals at risk, I can go and sort of understand better where the gaps are in my team and in my achievement, and which can help me add meetings to my calendar. I can also look at all the business metrics that are important to me in very easily summarized charts. Sorry, I'll just go back to the home screen. So all my leads, which can be split by status, by priority, or by state. So I can look at all my leads, and all of these tags and segmentations can be completely customized. So now, without having to go and look at a deep CRM platform, I can get all of that visibility. Similarly, all my partners, I get visibility into it in one single window. I can segment partners by priority, by tier, and so on. And similarly, all the activities which I need to do have all been summarized for me. And very quickly, before I pause and hand it back to the ABeam team, I'll just jump into a lead, for example, and look at a lead list where it shows my all the various things that are important in terms of getting visibility into a lead, which is the lead priority, the lead source, and multiple other tags that I can add. I can go into a lead and I can look at all the information on a lead. Similarly, I can go into a customer and I get single window visibility into all the details of that customer, including what is their business trend over the period of time, what are the products that they have procured, what are my history of activities with that customer, what are my also my upcoming activities, and so on. And then finally, the most powerful thing is that as I execute activities as part of my day, based on intelligent machine learning plus playbook rules based next action recommendations, I get the list of suggestions which show up on my screen. So for example, at each point in time, I get 5 top next action recommendations, which helps me to plan my day for the most productivity. So here I see, for example, that I have a set of leads at a high priority that need my attention. So I can go and take a look at these leads and I can work on these leads. Just going to come back here. I can also look at certain customers are eligible for an upgrade, so that I can go and schedule an activity with that customer, which will go into my calendar. So there are certain high potential clients which are due for a call and so on. So now with just, so if I start my day by looking at my suggestions, looking at all my metrics cards, it gives me a very powerful way of planning my activities for the day to make sure that I'm setting myself up for the most success. And all of this is done in the form of very simple, targeted, sort of data-driven playbook rules. In view of time, I will pause here, but I would love to showcase a much more deeper demonstration, which is very personalized to each use case, post this call on a follow-up conversation. Thank you so much, and I'll pass it on to Herfin for the next part of the presentation.
Maybe one thing I would ask the Baru as your experiences, actually that, this, hand phone application is, how is the adaptation by the users? Because the many users, sometimes, new member comes. Also now, due to the COVID, resign ratio is also high. So is there anything like you have some kind of tips to, or, good guidance for the onboarding to master those operations?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think one of the major differentiators that we bring as a solution is the adoption rate is very high. And that is because we are fundamentally built to simplify the seller experience. So for example, if you take a very large standard CRM, right, even the best names in the business, they are built more for the leadership and for the sales ops. So there'll be a lot of reports, analytics, and so on, but it's not optimized for the salesperson. So it's not very simple and powerful to use. We are built fully to optimize that end user on the field, right? How is their experience going to be simple? And we only showcase what information is relevant to them. Because of that, we are seeing around 80% adoption rate across our 300,000 users in the globe. And that is because of this reason. And what we also do is, as part of a deployment, when we work with partners like ABeam, we work on the change management process a lot. I think that is important. So we do a lot of training sessions, we do a lot of hand holding, we work with them to showcase a step-by-step plan on sort of getting value from the Vymo application. And we work at how both the salespeople plus the sales managers and the leaders can get value. And so we work with each of these three things in a very personalized manner. Yeah, so I mean, that's a great question. And it's something that we really prioritize from a solution perspective.
Yeah, from our side is also that we hear a lot of pains. Actually, the company already implemented a good CRM system, but not really easy to use. So that's why the truck is fast to do the analytics or something. Proper data, proper decision. Yes.
Absolutely right.
Explanation. Yeah. Maybe I'll pass it to the Helfit to further more about the sales management and data driven. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Akira-san. Farun. It's very interesting, actually, discussion today. So just like Akira-san mentioned in the previous presentations, that actually new technology is emerging, but somehow people will be still there as a final touch. And also from Farun, also already mentioned about what kind of pain point actually right now in industry is suffering. Like for example, in current COVID pandemic situations, people is scattered, data is scattered. How we can collaborate each other is also one of the key. And I think like how we can use the DX, utilize DX for our further improve ourselves by using the data. So it's more accurate. It's also very important in this current situation. So maybe in the next slide, I just quickly share so a little bit like high level idea how we can use the DX for further improve our operations. So yeah, we can see like in these slides, we have like some kind of diagram in here. So it's showing some kind of synergy between the how we do the sales, how we maintain the relationships, and also how we can collect the data from this activity. So basically in selling, we of course we want to know what kind of products that preferable from our customer, what kind of products that they prefer, and also to whom we sell this product, and also by using what kind of method that we sell this product. And this data actually also can go later on into our data collections, let's say, and from this activity, just like what Akira-san mentions, how we utilize this data, how to create further attack list to do the cross-sell, upsell is very important. And then based on this, not only implementing the system, but also analyzing the data is one of the important key to create more advanced product and service. So yeah, in this slide, basically I will introduce some kind of idea how we can utilize the DX. Maybe I start from the left bottom. Left bottom, actually, this is some kind of mobile platform. This we already get quite interesting explanation from Farun, like how to utilize the mobile platform. So basically collaboration is one of the key. We don't want like to have scattered data. We want to summarize, and then by using this kind of summarizing data or how to utilize the playbook also expectedly, we can increase the speed and also accelerate the collaboration with many stakeholders. So this kind of mobile platform is very important as a gateway. And also later on, I'm moving to the top right, basically how to utilize this data that we already gain using this kind of platform to create the attack list, let's say, for further cross-sell and also upsell within the company or in the group company is also one of the key. And how to prioritize based on the customer characteristic, what kind of product, what kind of customer we need to put a priority on is also very important. And then a distribution channel, just like Akira-san mentioned in previously, actually we have several distribution channel. Online is there, but it's still improving right now. So we are still focusing on the like bank insurance or agency, how we can analyze which channel is more effective for our product marketing. This is also very important. Then based on this data analytic, we also can get a reference how or what kind of product that actually favorite by a customer. So we can do some kind of recommendations and also personalize the offer based on these informations. Yeah. And then, yeah, based on these informations, I move to the right bottom side, like how to create advanced product and service. Also, one of the pain point that also Akira-san and Farun also mentions is like a talk script. So the skill of our salesperson is also very important. How they can their product knowledge is also very important when they doing the sales to the customer. So one of the interesting DX utilization in this area is, for example, for insurance company, of course, we provide some kind of training to our agent or salesperson. But of course, after the training, we need to ensure that their capability to doing the sales, for example, talk script or a product offering is already appropriate or not. So not only one time, if we can utilize some kind of AI training for them, so they can join the training anytime they want. And also based on some kind of scoring by AI, we can make sure their capability to doing the sales. We can do the practice about the talk script or something. So this is a very interesting area, I think. And yeah, lastly, maybe this not, let's say, more focused onto one area, but on the left top area, so we can also think of a utilization of robot process automations, RPA or OCR. For example, in one case is, let's say in the process claim. So whenever the claim, because like in insurance business, many stakeholders is involved. Sometimes insurance insurance company with the bank, for example, many partner is there. They also send the information using the email or something. This can be gathered by robot process automations. And then for other data collections, we also can use the OCR. For example, attachment in the email or invoice, we can digitalize this data into our system for more further usage in data analytics, for example. Yeah, so this is some kind of like high level idea how we can utilize the DX. Of course, still many interesting things that we can talk about, and unfortunately we cannot talk much about this digitalization in these sessions. So maybe if there is more further question or there is some kind of interest, of course we are open. Please contact us so we can discuss further about this DX utilizations. Yeah, so I think that's all from me. I think already several questions in the question and answer. So maybe I pass the mic to Kaisha to further facilitate. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Pak Hervin. So now we're going to begin answering the questions submitted during today's presentation. As a reminder, you can still submit your question through the Q&A box in your Zoom. Now we will address the first question to Mr. Farun. This is related to Vymo. So the question is, can Vymo also create playbook with geodata, like agent has already passing X location, then he can meet Y client in this his free time?
Yeah, so I think that's a great question. And we didn't get the chance to cover that in the demo. And I would love to show that in an offline demo later. But we are a mobile first app, which means we are also geolocation based intelligence is part of what we provide as the solution. So we have map-based guidance for agents to plan their route as they go for all their meetings in the day. And also we have, various aspects of playbooks where location can play a part. So some examples are, firstly, on the sourcing and prospecting side. So think of a scenario where you are selling to a small and medium-sized business, and you're going into a location and you want to get a list of all the small merchants and small businesses in that area. We have, we do integrations in each geography. We do integrations with company databases, with Google Maps APIs and so on to showcase that in the map view so that you can pick and then go and meet a new person and then add them to your prospect list. So that is one option. The second option is in terms of planning your day for increased productivity as you go along the day. So for field agents who are on the field selling, if they have some time between two meetings, then they can go and open up their map view and take a look at which are all their leads and customers and partners in a certain radius where they are currently. And those will be color coded based on priority, so that I can only look at the high priority ones and then I can go and meet those people. What we also do in some use cases for customers, which is seeing a lot of value, is that we can club the location with the calendar, because both the location and the calendar of the agent is there in Vymo. So what we can do is, for example, if you are going and planning a bunch of meetings today and you have a meeting at 2 p.m. today, and you are going to be at a particular location at 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. because it's a field visit, in-person visit with a partner, and you don't have any other meeting post 2:30 p.m. and your next meeting is at 4 o'clock. So we know that you have some calendar availability because we can see your calendar. We also link to all your other calendars, so it's all in one single place. And we know that you're going to be at that location. So based on that, we will send you a recommendation. And I showed you the 5 top suggestions that come on the screen at any point in time. I mean, one of those suggestions will be that since you are already at this location, why don't you add another meeting to your calendar is to meet a lead who is close by. So this sort of optimizations happen because of location as well. So certainly would love to show that in more detail if that is of interest to the listeners. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Varun, for your explanation. It is interesting since Vymo is very near real time to do this using geodata. So the next question is also related. If we already have this near real time data, how does Vymo identify which partner or which agent needs attention? Yeah,
so that is also a very good question, which sort of goes back to a lot of things that we do in a very unique way. And I mean, so there are 2 aspects to this which I will answer. So first is there are static best practice rules that we can define for what should be a right frequency of engagement with partners or agents in my network. So to take an example, if I'm dealing with a bunch of branches in a bancassurance partnership, not all branches are equally productive for me. I mean, not all branches are equally important for me. Some branches might be located in major urban centers, in the heart of the city, financial district, in very highly residential areas and so on, where the potential business is going to be high. Some branches will be in a bit of more smaller towns and cities, far-flung areas where the potential business is going to be low. So I, as a branch manager, might be dealing with branches spread across the geography. I need to first segment these branches: platinum, gold, silver, or high priority, medium priority, low priority. And based on that, I might need to have some sanity check in terms of how many times do I meet a branch contact from that branch. So for example, if I take a platinum branch, in a platinum branch, I will also have multiple different contacts, and I can segment and prioritize those contacts as well. So I'll have a platinum contact in a platinum branch who I need to meet every week, right? Even if there is no trigger to meet that person, I need to go and meet that person just to maintain the relationship. So it's purely from a relationship health perspective. I need to meet partners and contacts based on a frequency that is linked to their priority. So this rule can be built in Vymo to make sure that, for example, if it's a platinum branch, platinum contact, each week we will auto calendar an engagement with them. And the customer can go and change the timeline, etc. But we will make sure that we will nudge them to have those meetings. So that is one. But the second way of bringing up attention is based on business metrics or based on external triggers. So the business metrics are, for example, we have a set of business metrics that we can set up, which might be the number of leads from a branch, the number of, or the value of total policies from a branch, which is tracked week on week or day on day or month on month based on what the customer requires. In most cases, we see a week on week trend. And if we have a dip this week based to last week, we can have a nudge to the agent to say, call the contact and see what is happening. I mean, why is there a dip? Because it's a competitive scenario. If there is a dip in business in a particular branch, it might be the case that the business is going to a competing insurance carrier. So you want to make sure that you address these things proactively. So the second thing is business metrics based. Plus there is one more thing which is external triggers based. Like, for example, if there is a new product that is launched by my head office, I will get a nudge saying, do a product training. If there is an external market event, like the first time that COVID struck and we all had to go to a new business model, how will that work? What will be the implications in terms of insurance policies and so on? So those will be a trigger for the agent to go and meet that branch. So we try to bring together all of these triggers, which a lot of time these triggers are already sort of identified by the insurance carrier. I mean, we just sort of bring it to the attention of the agent in a simplified way. So these are ways in which we do it. And here I also want to add as a very last point is that the more we work, we bring in the best practices from ABeam to understand the nuances of the value chain in insurance agencies, in bank assurance for Indonesia, the more powerful these playbooks will become, and the more the data will be used in a very contextual manner to highlight which agencies need attention. So I mean, we see it as a deeply embedded journey, a deeply verticalized journey, which is targeted to make sure that the solution that is provided is not just an off-the-shelf solution, but one that is tailored to the needs of agency networks and bank assurance network managers in the Indonesian market. And that is what we want to provide for all our customers.
Yeah, so maybe from my side is, maybe back to the first question. So also in order to control the people, right? This is really important how to transform that because people cannot change so radically in the tomorrow. So maybe the change management type of things and also the KPI and the incentive things for them to exactly follow the technology. So always there's a resistance in the reality. So in that kind of things, what is the point of that the company want to enjoy? Because they want to utilize the CRM and then get closer to the customer, right? Not tracking itself. So that's why based on those objectives and the key agenda from the company, what kind of data we try to utilize from the Vymo technologies, and also deliver the strategy through the technologies to get down on the field is quite important, I feel. So that's why the business strategy plus DX without just a tool is maybe doesn't make sense for the especially agent or management. So yeah, this kind of change management also are quite important, I think. Yeah,
absolutely.
And what is good is Vymo has several patterns for that to get attention from the partner or agent, right? So there is also the best practice combination with us in the global. So we have several options, but this we choose the best ones to discuss through the discussion with the client. What kind of how to say method is the best fit for their interest in the business for the client. Yeah, so this is the most important point, I think. Anyway, it's always good to have the options and already some kind of methodologies.
Thank you, Akira-san, and thank you, Mr. Karun, for your explanation. So thank you, everyone, for attending today's webinar, Digitalized Lead Conversion and Data-Driven Sales Management. Once you leave today's webinar, you will receive a survey link, and we would appreciate if you would complete that and provide your feedback. You can also scan this QR code for the survey link, and you can contact ABeam and Vymo through following emails. On behalf of ABeam Consulting Indonesia and Vymo, thank you for joining us today and have a great rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you.